A whole lot of injuries and a little bit of positive from Kirk Ferentz's weekly press conference as we get prepped for Cyhawk Week. Well, we're in the middle of Cyhawk Week now on a Tuesday evening. I'm Corey Brada from the Hawkeye of the Storm, talking about the Cyhawk game briefly. I'll be releasing a game preview tomorrow, Wednesday, right here on the channel. Before we get to the substance from Kirk Ferentz's presser today, I want to tell you about Ascent Nutrition. They've got this Ascent coffee. It's great stuff. Mold and mycotoxin free. It smells great. It'll perk you up in the morning, and it tastes pure. It tastes clean. Great stuff. Use the code Hawkeyes at goascentnutrition.com. Use the code Hawkeyes at checkout. Goascentnutrition.com. Kirk Ferentz addressing the media in anticipation of the Cyhawk game, just a few days removed from Iowa's dismal offensive performance against the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. And word on the street is that Gavin Williams will play. Iowa expected to return its starting running back to the roster after Gavin missed game one. LaShawn took most of the carries. Caleb Johnson, the freshman, factored in as well. But it does sound like Gavin Williams will return. At wide receiver, Keegan Johnson remains out. What is the status of Keegan Johnson? There's rumors circulating about his status with Iowa moving forward. I can't confirm anything because I don't know anything substantial. I don't know if anybody really does. Iowa's done a nice job keeping this on the down low. You wish him the best, whether it's physical or something else going on. You just hope he can come back soon. Iowa continues to deal with injuries at wide receiver. Sounds like Brody Brecht is, he's on the depth chart this week. I talked about that yesterday on the channel. He's on the 2 deep. Will he play? I wouldn't expect him to log a ton of snaps. I think he logged 1 or 2 on Saturday against South Dakota State. Alec Wick and Jack Johnson escaped the game on Saturday without any injuries. I would assume Jacob Bostic is still available. Nico Reganey remains out for the second straight week. You look over at linebacker. We talked about Justin Jacobs not being on the depth chart yesterday, and he will not play in the game. Kirk Ferentz confirming that Jacobs suffered an injury during the game. Of course, he left that game. Logan Klemp, the Jewel, Iowa native, he entered the game and finished for the Hawkeyes. He will carry the duties there at the Leo spot. Iowa likely to go more cash. I think you're going to see a lot more Cooper DeJean, but Iowa's also potentially down a cornerback. Jamari Harris, who actually was out game one because of an OWI suspension, he is now doubtful, apparently due to an injury that I was not aware of. He is now out, which means Cooper DeJean, who played a lot at corner last week, in addition to being a cash and special teams guy, now he may be thrust into duties at cornerback, and boy, you become thin there. Terry Roberts, Riley Moss, you expect those guys to play. Their health is of utmost importance. But now with Jacobs and potentially Harris out, boy, that hurts you. And I think Iowa right now is in a situation where you better have TJ Hall and Brendan Diaz-Fernandez ready, because you may not have many options. You hope that they're comfortable with Logan Klemp. We keep hearing about how Kirk Ferentz is just supremely confident in this group of linebackers, even the backups, which include Klemp, Kyler Fisher, Jay Higgins, etc. So Iowa dealing with its fair share of injuries on both sides of the ball. What does it mean moving forward? What does it mean for this Cyhawk game? Well, first of all, I mentioned this the other day. Justin Jacobs had his coming out party against the Cyclones in 2021. You remember he forced the fumble on Breece Hall that was recovered by Jack Campbell and returned for a very important touchdown. The good news is Iowa did, at least in me, build some confidence in me at defensive back in general. I thought Kayvon Merriweather was a little iffy early. He got burned on a play that was an incomplete deep ball to one of the Yankee kids early in that game, but I thought he got better as the game went on, and Quinn Schulte made a number of really nice plays. Remember, he's replacing a very sure tackler in Jack Kerner. So you hope that Jack Campbell, Seth Benson, those guys can stay healthy. You hope that they can stay healthy on the back end. And Jamari Harris was not ruled out, but he was ruled doubtful. The offense is a question mark. We know Petrus is your starter. Not much from Kirk Ferentz. I mean, there were a lot of, and it's not a shot at the media, but there were a lot of softballs from the media today. Not a ton of real hard-hitting questions, which, that's their prerogative. I don't know what you really say at this point. We're heading into a huge rivalry game, and Iowa's offense is what Iowa's offense is. But how much will the offense get better? I think that's the question. You get your starting running back, which helps you. It sounds like Jennings Dunker has been dinged up, but now he's healthy as well. So, some help along that offensive line. But man, there wasn't a ton of positives even from that front five on offense. I thought Logan Jones had a down game on Saturday. Iowa's going to have to figure out a way to push the ball downfield vertically. I think you've got to give Spencer Petras an opportunity to throw the deep ball, which he's best at. The problem is their one real, I think, sure deep ball threat would be Keegan Johnson. And now that he's out, who steps up there? Arlen Bruce is not your prototypical X. Could it be a Brody Brecht? Could it be a guy like Alec Wick, who is very athletic for being a walk-on from Regina? They've got to figure out a way to get the ball downfield. That is Spencer Petras' strengths. But, of course, I'll talk more about this here tomorrow. I'll be releasing, again, a preview tomorrow for Iowa and Iowa State. But, again, main takeaways, injuries galore, but they do get Gavin Williams back from injury. And, boy, I expect this game to be close, and I expect it to be low scoring. I saw the over-under, talked with Mark Rogers, the voice of college football today. The over-under is at like 41.5. I'm taking the under. I've never bet on a game, but, boy, I would certainly guess that the under will be under 41.5. Appreciate you tuning in for a brief segment today. We'll be back tomorrow talking Iowa State, countdown to the annual Cyhawk game this year in Kinnick Stadium.